Steven Seagal's life story is as action-packed and enigmatic as the films he became famous for. Seagal, born on April 10, 1952, in Lansing, Michigan, rose to fame in the late 1980s and early 1990s as a martial artist turned Hollywood action star. But beyond the screen, his life has been full of surprising twists, from his background in martial arts and music to his controversial political views and legal issues. Early life and martial arts mastery. Steven Seagal's fascination with martial arts began at a young age. After moving to Fullerton, California as a teenager, he began training in karate, but it was aikido, a Japanese martial art focusing on redirecting an opponent's energy, that truly captured his passion. In the 1970s, Seagal moved to Japan, where he became the first non-Japanese person to open an aikido dojo. His deep knowledge of aikido, he earned a 7th Dan black belt, helped him build a reputation as a formidable martial artist. Seagal spent many years in Japan, immersing himself in the culture, practicing Zen Buddhism, and studying the Japanese language. Hollywood stardom. Seagal's Hollywood career began relatively late, at the age of 36, when he starred in his debut film Above the Law, 1988. The film introduced audiences to his unique style of martial arts and action sequences, setting the tone for the rest of his career. Unlike many action stars, Seagal's on-screen persona relied more on swift, fluid movements and disarming techniques rather than brute force, making his action scenes stand out. Seagal followed this with a string of successful action films, including Hard to Kill, 1990, Marked for Death, 1990, and Out for Justice, 1991. His most popular film, however, was Under Siege, 1992, where he played a former Navy SEAL battling terrorists aboard a U.S. battleship. Under Siege solidified his place among top action stars like Bruce Willis, Sylvester Stallone, and Arnold Schwarzenegger. One of the more colorful chapters in Steven Seagal's life is his long-standing feud with fellow action star Jean-Claude Van Damme, a rivalry that has garnered significant attention over the years. Both men rose to prominence in the late 1980s and early 1990s as martial artists turned Hollywood stars. And while their on-screen personas had fans debating their fighting prowess, tensions between them also simmered off-screen. Origins of the feud. The feud reportedly began in the late 1980s or early 1990s, during the height of both actors' careers. Although there are varying accounts of how the animosity started, it largely centers around Seagal's repeated public dismissals of Van Damme's fighting abilities. Seagal, known for his background in aikido and his serious martial arts training in Japan, often implied that Van Damme, who was known for his high-energy kicks and acrobatic moves, wasn't a real martial artist. Seagal was critical of Van Damme's style, calling it more flashy than effective in a real fight. Van Damme, a former competitive kickboxer with a black belt in karate, didn't take kindly to Seagal's remarks. While Van Damme generally stayed quiet in public, it was clear there was tension between the two stars. For fans, this rivalry became a topic of debate, with people comparing Seagal's aikido style to Van Damme's kickboxing and karate-based fighting. The infamous Party Showdown. The most infamous incident involving Seagal and Van Damme reportedly took place at a party hosted by Sylvester Stallone in 1997. According to Stallone, who recounted the story in later interviews, the two action stars nearly came to blows during the gathering. At the party, Seagal made yet another remark about how he could easily defeat Van Damme in a real fight. Tired of Seagal's constant jabs, Van Damme finally challenged Seagal to prove it right then and there. Stallone claimed that Van Damme was serious and ready to fight, but Seagal made an excuse and left the party. Van Damme, not one to back down, allegedly followed Seagal to another party location, continuing to challenge him to a fight. Stallone described Van Damme as relentless, while Seagal continued to avoid the confrontation. Stallone later commented that Van Damme was too strong, and believed that, had the fight taken place, Van Damme might have overpowered Seagal. However, the fight never happened, leaving fans to speculate what would have occurred if the two martial arts stars had squared off. Continued jabs and professional rivalry. Over the years, both men have taken subtle and not-so-subtle digs at each other in interviews. Seagal has remained dismissive of Van Damme's martial arts credentials, and Van Damme has occasionally referenced Seagal's avoidance of the challenge. In one interview, Van Damme referred to the incident at Stallone's party, stating, "He didn't want to fight, he walked away." Despite their mutual dislike, both Seagal and Van Damme carved out successful careers in Hollywood, though their rivalry persisted as part of their larger-than-life personas. Fans of both actors continue to speculate and debate which of them would come out on top in a real fight, a question that remains unanswered to this day. The impact of the rivalry. The Seagal-Van Damme feud became a pop culture talking point during the 1990s, as both men represented different schools of martial arts and different styles of action filmmaking. Seagal's films often portrayed him as the quiet, efficient, and brutal warrior, while Van Damme was known for his high-flying kicks, splits, and more choreographed fight scenes. Their rivalry also fueled media attention, with fans eagerly awaiting any sign of reconciliation or escalation. While their careers eventually took different paths, Seagal into more direct-to-video films and political controversies, and Van Damme into a mix of acting, personal struggles, and a career resurgence with films like JCVD, their feud remains a legendary piece of Hollywood martial arts lore. In the end, the Seagal-Van Damme beef may never be fully resolved, but it has certainly contributed to the mythos surrounding both men. Whether it was real animosity or a case of competing egos in the action movie world, the tension between the two has kept their names linked together in the minds of martial arts and action film fans for decades. Despite a decline in mainstream success in the late 1990s, Seagal continued making films, many of which went directly to video-on-demand platforms. By then, his films had become known for their low-budget production, stylized fight scenes, and over-the-top action sequences. Music and philanthropy. Outside of his movie career, Seagal has explored his love for music. He is a blues guitarist and has released 2 studio albums, Songs from the Crystal Cave 2005 and Mojo Priest 2006. Both albums showcase his love for the blues and feature collaborations with notable musicians like Stevie Wonder and B.B. King. Seagal has also been involved in various humanitarian efforts. He has supported causes like environmental protection, animal rights, and Tibetan independence. His close relationship with Tibetan Buddhism and the Dalai Lama has played a significant role in shaping his worldview. Controversies and legal issues. Seagal's career has not been without controversy. In the 1990s, he was involved in several legal battles related to sexual harassment claims and allegations of abusive behavior. Numerous women, including actresses and staff members on his films, accused him of inappropriate conduct, leading to several lawsuits. These issues resurfaced during the #MeToo movement, bringing more attention to the accusations. Seagal's connections to law enforcement have also raised eyebrows. He became a reserve deputy sheriff in Jefferson Parish, Louisiana, and starred in a reality TV series, Steven Seagal, Lawman, in which he participated in real police work. His law enforcement credentials, however, have been questioned, with some critics arguing that his involvement was more for show than actual police work. Political involvement and Russian citizenship. In recent years, Seagal's political views have sparked further controversy. He has expressed support for Russian President Vladimir Putin, with whom he shares a personal friendship. In 2016, Seagal was granted Russian citizenship by Putin himself, a move that raised questions about his motivations and allegiances. Seagal has been outspoken in his criticism of U.S. foreign policy, particularly regarding Russia, and has become something of a cultural ambassador between the two nations. His pro-Russian stance has led to some backlash in the United States, where his views are seen as controversial. The enigma of Steven Seagal. Steven Seagal remains an enigmatic figure. On the one hand, he's a Hollywood action icon, known for his unique martial arts style and his influence on 1980s and 1990s action cinema. On the other hand, his life off-screen is marked by controversies, legal battles, and unexpected political shifts. Though his star power in Hollywood has faded, Seagal continues to work in film, produce music, and maintain his ties to law enforcement and international diplomacy. His life is a blend of martial arts, Hollywood glamour, and global controversy, a mix as eclectic as the man himself. What do you think in Seagal versus Van Damme? I will put all my money on Jean-Claude. Let me know in the comments.